Hey, what's going on? It's Ryan Stewman, president, founder, entertainer, and educator over at breakfreeacademy.com and your favorite sales blogger over at hardcorecloser.com. And today's video is about the perfect sales process. People ask me all the time. They say, Ryan, what's the best or what's the perfect sales process? And this is an important video because I'm gonna give it to you, right? I'm not gonna hold anything back from you. I'm gonna give you the process that I use, the process that I teach my personal sales team to use as well. And I'm just gonna lay it out there. So the first thing in every salesperson has to understand about the perfect process is it doesn't involve talking a lot. Right? He who speaks the least earns the most when it comes to sales. Like the less that you talk, the more you do of this, the more money you will make. I promise you. People are more likely to talk themselves out of a sale than they are to talk themselves into a sale. And I don't want you to be a victim of that either. So the way around that is to ask open-ended questions. And my favorite question to start off every sales conversation is, what made you decide to reach out? See, I don't cold call people. I don't door knock. I don't go to like boring ass network events. I generate leads. And when a lead shows up and they give me their name, email address, and phone number, I'm in charge of reaching out to that lead and asking them what made you decide to reach out. The reason why that's the most powerful question in all of sales is because the hardest thing to get a human being to do is make a decision. And if I ask them what made you decide to reach out to me, then anything that they say implies that they've already made a decision with me involved. You see the power behind that? So here's how the sales process goes. First, you have the formalities, okay? Hey, what's going on? It's Ryan. So glad that you decided to talk to me today. Man, tell me a little bit about yourself. And I don't ask about the weather or anything else. I want to get to know them. And I say, cool, what do you do for a living? Awesome. What are you trying to get more of? Awesome. And then I say, well, what made you decide to reach out to me? Okay, so there's no, how's the weather up in Michigan? There's no, hey, sunshiny day out today. Ha ha ha, traffic was terrible. I'm getting straight to it. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me what you do for a living. And so I say, tell me a little bit about yourself. And I'm quiet. And then I say, oh, awesome. Okay, so what do you do for a living? What do you sell? And I'll let them finish talking. Like, salespeople are scared to death of silence. There's no need for you to be scared of silence. Silence is a closing skill. Be patient, be silent, and you will make money. And so once they tell me what they sell and a little bit about themselves, the next thing you do is you simply ask, well, what made you decide to reach out to me? And at that point, they're gonna tell me what they're looking for more of. Well, I need to make more sales. Well, I want to scale my business. Well, I want to leverage technology. I need more leads or whatever it is, okay? But notice all those things that I ask are open-ended questions. I don't give them a multiple choice or, hey, do you want this or that? I don't do any of that. I ask them an open-ended question. And so the formalities and then the open-ended questions are key. What made you decide to reach out? The next thing after that is you need to have a pre-planned set of questions that you're gonna ask every single prospect. Like for real estate agents, I tell them you need to ask, what time frame are you looking to move? What part of town are you looking to move to? What's your price range? Do you need to sell the home that you live in now? Have you been pre-approved for a mortgage? And things of that nature, right? Are you working with a real estate agent already? Those are the questions that you need to have already. You need to have those epiphany realizing questions already prepared so that you can actually go through the process of asking the prospect those questions. So you got the formality and then you've got the power question. So you go through the formalities, then you've got the power question of what made you decide to reach out. And then you're gonna ask your typical questions that's walking them through the process that's gonna uncover that problem. You see, every prospect out there, the reason why they become a lead is because they have some sort of problem. And your job is much like a doctor. You're to uncover that problem and diagnose that problem to where you can actually solve that problem for them, because we're not really salespeople. What we are is problem solvers. And the minute that you make that mind shift from salesperson to problem solver, your life will be changed because you'll make more money, because people aren't looking to be sold, they're looking for their problem to be solved, right? So once you make that mind shift, it changes everything for you. So now that you've got your 6 to 10 pre-planned questions that you're gonna go ahead and ask them, you ask them those questions should draw them to some sort of conclusion that, yes, I do need your help. And so when that happens and you diagnose that problem and you say, okay, would you like my help with that? Yes, I need your help. That's how you call them to action. You see, most salespeople, they show up and they have no process. They start talking about the weather. They start talking about things that don't matter. How's the wife and kids? Who cares about the wife and kids? We're here to solve a problem. Who cares about the weather? That has nothing to do on whether you can help them solve their problem or not. And people look at it as building rapport, but you don't build rapport with the doctor. The doctor doesn't come in and talk to you about the weather and everything else. The doctor doesn't try to sell you cancer. The doctor says, this is your problem. Would you like for me to give you a diagnosis and a prescription that would help you solve that problem? And obviously at that point, that's when you say, well, hell yeah, doc, make me better. Salespeople need to operate that same way. And the problem why most salespeople don't make serious money, meaning 7 figures and above, and most salespeople get stuck in the 6-figure range, is because they don't have a process. They just wing it, right? They just wing it. You can't wing it. You actually have to have a system. So let me go over this again. The perfect system is simple. You have the formalities where you ask them, tell them about yourself, tell me what you sell, and then what made you decide to reach out. You got the formalities, the power question, and then you've got your 6 questions that let them draw that epiphany, that they have to have that self-realization. You can't talk your way into a sale. You can't convince somebody to do business with you. They have to convince themselves to do business with you. And then you have to call them to action. Hey, would you like my help with that? And if they say, well, you know, I'm thinking about this, we'll say, well, how much longer are you willing to stay in the situation you're in right now? I told a guy today that I was on a sales call with, he said, well, I need to think about this. And I said, well, how long are you willing to think about it? Because you've been thinking about it a lot longer than you've been on this phone call with me, and nothing's changed in your life. The faster you make a decision, the faster things start to change in your life. So when are you going to be done thinking? I'll be done thinking on Monday. Please follow up with me. And that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to have a follow-up process that follows that. Because most people these days aren't going to one-call close people. They're not. Most people, they say, well, I'm the king of one-call closes, and occasionally we do one-call close people, but follow-up is key, because most people need to think about it. They need to talk to their spouse. They need to, you know, check Encyclopedia Britannica. They need to go to the Google. They need to consult their dog, their doctor, their lawyer, or whatever the case, and we can't try to force them into the deal. We just have to have a plan for follow-up. And so what I do is I follow up with everybody 3 days later. And then if they're not ready to commit in 3 days later, then I postpone them out for a week and I say, okay, I'm gonna follow up with you for a week. But I don't just magically show up at any time. I set an appointment after every single phone call. At the end of every single phone call that I'm on that's a sales call, I'm setting them up for that follow-up. I don't just simply say, hey, okay, perfect. Well, can I follow up with you sometime this week? I say, hey, well, let me call you back Monday at 2 p.m. and we're gonna continue this conversation. Does that sound fair? Right? I'm getting them to agree to my follow-up process. That's what I call permission-based selling. So again, formalities, power questions, epiphany questions, call them to action, and then handle their objections, and then a stellar and powerful and scheduled follow-up process. That's the perfect sales process. Now, what you need to do is you need to put your spin on that. You need to go ahead and figure out what questions you need to ask. You need to go ahead and figure out how you're going to set that follow-up prospect, because if you're calling doctors, you can't call them every 3 days. Maybe you got to call them every 2 weeks. Or if you're calling a CEO, you can't bug them every single day. You might have to bug them once a month or whatever the case may be. But you need to put together your spin on my perfect process. And if you will follow it, and you will get organized, and you will follow that system to a T, you will make more sales. And by the way, if you're good at sales and you just don't have enough leads, which is the biggest problem facing the sales community right now, then go over to phonesites.com, sign up. You can get powerful software that you can build landing pages directly from your mobile device in under 5 minutes. That's right, you can create a landing page, a sales funnel, a website with videos, pictures, and everything else, all within 5 minutes right here from your mobile device. No desktop, no laptop, no tech skills required whatsoever. It's so easy, a 5-year-old can do it. So go over to phonesites.com and get yourself an abundant supply of leads. I want to throw in my $997 phone funnels package, where we teach you Facebook ads, we teach you organic marketing, and everything else. It's a $1,000 gift just for going and signing up over at phonesites.com. Make sure you check out other videos on this channel as well. And on top of that, make sure you subscribe here and share it with somebody who can appreciate this perfect selling process as well. We'll catch you on the next video.